Hi, welcome to my podcast, Talking Travel with Wendy. I travel the globe interviewing really cool people in small hospitality and tourism businesses. Join me each week as I discover and share something or someone new with you. You can find more at www.travelwithwendy.net. And remember, it's always an adventure when you travel with Wendy. Almost instantly, when you turn the corner to enter Gorham's Bluff, you've entered another world. So I grabbed a few friends who willingly joined me for an easygoing, carefree weekend in this gorgeous, peaceful community that sits atop the Tennessee River as it cuts through the Appalachian Mountains. It was a time to disconnect to reconnect. So welcome to Gorham's Bluff. Thanks for joining me here today as I share our lovely weekend retreat, a beautiful waterfall hike, and introduce you to creator and visionary Don McGriff. Hi, today we are here at Gorham's Bluff, and I'm with Don McGriff, and we are sitting atop the Tennessee River. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I'm super psyched about being here. We had such a great weekend.
Good. I'm glad to know that.
Yeah. Tell me about the idea, and I know it's been a while now that you've been here.
25 years. It was 25. This lodge opened 25 years ago in July, so we're just a few months past. We should have had a birthday party already, but we have some shutters that need to be fixed, and I'm so proud that I refuse to celebrate our birthday till I can look prettier. But we are hoping to launch some events through the rest of the year and into next July. So we're going to say it's a year long, though we haven't really done anything.
Yeah.
You can see signs of our work, like these wraps around the columns have not yet been painted, so you can tell that we're working, but it's not quite there yet. But 25 years.
Yeah.
So that was in 1995, and in 1992, I came to the Bluff to talk with my father about some career decisions that I was looking at. I was in a corporation, and I was very proud of what our corporation did, but I was not enjoying my role because typically, at least what happened in the 80s and the 90s, is that the farther up the ladder you went, the less you actually put your hands on anything, and you're just budgeting and directing people. And I just didn't like it very much.
The creation part of it.
Yeah, so I was trying to sort of make a decision about what next. And my father said, my parents lived in Albertville at the time.
Sure.
And my father said, let's just go up to the Bluff and talk. Okay. I mean, it's always been like a pilgrimage for our family, to come here when nothing was here at all. And
it's been a part of your family, this area, for...
My grandfather actually got to finally purchase this property in the early 50s.
Okay.
And he held it until the early 70s, and then he wanted it to stay in the family. And at the time, my dad, his son-in-law, was the person who said, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So in the early 70s, we got it.
Yeah.
We stood out on the Bluff, and Dad said, I've had these lots surveyed, and I think we could make a little money.
Okay.
I don't know if you know anything about my dad. He's a CPA. He has quite the reputation for helping people build businesses and plan estates.
And what's his name?
Bill McGriff. Bill W. McGriff. Okay. I learned to have conversations with my dad, and I've considered him one of my very favorite people, but I didn't say, no, that's dumb, ever. And I said, Dad, if you build lots, if you sell lots on the Bluff and people build, then we can't go there anymore. We'll be standing in somebody's backyard. And that seems like a horrible idea.
Yeah.
He was kind of taken aback, I think. He said, what are you thinking? And I said, well, I haven't been thinking about it at all. It never occurred to me.
Yeah.
But I had the opportunity to go to Seaside. They were trying to build a corporate retreat business at Seaside.
Okay. That was in the 90s too, right?
It was the early 90s. And a friend of mine who was trying to expand what her company offered, she had a transportation company.
Okay.
And she asked me to go pose as her corporate client. So I did.
Hardship that it was.
That's how I got to know Seaside. And she invited a couple of other people to go with us, one of whom was a good friend of mine. She said, you got to come look at this. This is you. So I had said, once I do the the obligatory tour, I want to just go read my book and not have to do anything.
Right.
We juggled a lot in those young companies. We were asked, a lot was asked of us, and we loved it. But it's like, whoa, I gotta put my head on a pillow. Yeah. So it was late afternoon, and she said, I know you want to rest. I know you didn't want to be bothered, but you got to come see this. You can't just sit in here while that's out there.
Right.
So
right.
I went, and I spent all of Sunday until they told me we had to leave in the sales office reading all of the PR articles.
Okay.
And I continued to collect them when I went back home. Coincidence, serendipity, you decide.
Place at the right time.
Yeah. So by this time, I've now had that trip to Seaside. I've read all those articles, and now I have still got a file of Seaside stuff in my filing cabinet at home. Okay. And so I started on this with my dad to tell him, well, what if we treated the Bluff like Seaside treated the ocean, which at the time there was no plan to build anything on the ocean.
Oh, right.
And so I said, because if you do, then everything behind us loses value, because now what? And so I told him about everything I'd read.
Yeah.
And then, so that sort of started it.
Okay.
And we started examining the articles and asking questions.
Well, and you're perfectly located. So you're like an hour from Chattanooga and 2.5 from Atlanta.
2.5 from Atlanta on a bad 15 on a good day.
Yeah, and we made it in about an hour and 10 minutes from Huntsville. We stopped in Scottsboro for lunch. So it made for a really nice trip.
2:15 to Nashville, about the same as Atlanta.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, so really we are perfectly located.
Yeah. And almost like as soon as you get into Pisgah, you're like...
Well, it's pretty slow moving.
Yeah, it's nice. It's
Dollar
nice.
General's hopping, but pretty much
it
everywhere else is.
We did notice that.
Yeah, it's quiet.
But we hiked the Pisgah Gorge, which was very close to here, and that was really pretty. We were told like the falls is probably not going to be running too much because it's fall and it's not the best time to go hiking for falls, but it was really pretty. I got some great shots.
It's a fabulous time to go down where the dam was and go on the rock.
Yeah, we didn't make it all the way down there. That's not too far. No, and yesterday we went to Mentone, and we had just missed the farmer's market, but we went to the general store, Nina's General Store down there, and got some goodies.
That is, which has great little gourmet items.
Yes.
And I understand, though I haven't had a chance to eat there, that Elevation is an excellent new restaurant.
I am so glad you mentioned it. And for those of you who know I went, I love Kevin. I'm looking forward to going back there to interview him too. Yeah. We had the local burger a couple weeks ago, and we went to Orbix Hot Glass.
Yes.
And love Christy
and
Cal.
Send everybody to Orbix. Oh my gosh. Yeah. My favorite wedding gift is one of those beautiful, tall sort of pitchers that starts up and comes up
with
like
the fat base.
Yes.
And
I think that he is so talented, and there he is just working. So Mentone, it's 30 minutes to Mentone from here. Yep. So we love for our guests to have dinners here. Yes. But we also know that they've got other options, but that is apparently a really amazing option that we
really
have.
Is. Yeah. And 85% of his menu is from Lookout Mountain. Yeah. And so that you're supporting a local farmer, a local grower. So one of the places that, shout out to Butter Snob, I love them, and their funky macaroons, macaroons. I never say it the right way.
The real French one.
When I stopped to talk to him, he was making watermelon Jolly Rancher.
Oh my gosh.
Macarons.
That used to be that was my Jolly Rancher of choice.
Well, they're really cool. They're pink on the outside and have green on the inside. Yeah, I'm going to stop after the ornament
I
class
need to go exploring myself, because there's some things that we're not telling people about. And
they're just popping up.
Yeah.
I just think people get in a rut. And if you live here... they said, Wendy, you've only been home for a year. How did you find out about that place? So most of the time, I'm just talking to people on the hiking trail. Right. Where are you going to eat today, or what are you doing?
So you guys went to Scottsboro as well?
Yeah.
Good.
So you have 7 suites here.
We have 6.
6, okay. How far out do people have to book stay?
It is, who knows?
Okay. That's great. I love it.
So here's what I always say when guests ask me, if you know when you want to be here, get it booked. Okay. Because, I don't know, there's some sort of Murphy's Law. But we can be sitting on Tuesday, and I can look at a weekend to go, ugh, that's not looking really great. And it will be full by the time. So people are, I think especially with COVID, people are very spontaneous. They're just like, okay, that place is isolated and I would feel comfortable going there. There's only 6 rooms. We don't share anything.
Yeah, okay.
And of course we, as you now know, wear masks at dinner and try to keep the tables separated. And if a guest really wants to come and sit on a porch but doesn't want to have to be around any people, and we do have guests like that, I totally get it.
You have the space to do that though, because it's beautiful.
Well, we offer and are happy to deliver food to their rooms.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, so they can order from the dinner menu. They can have breakfast in bed or breakfast in your room is hugely popular. And I made it up. People always laugh. I say there's no extra charge. I mean, you're not going to choose to have breakfast in bed and then have me charge. But I did it because my nieces and nephews make so much fun of me, but I love hotels. Yeah. And so when I am on a trip, especially on the morning that we're leaving, I want room service. Yeah. Because I just don't want to get dressed and go downstairs. I want to be able to eat my breakfast leisurely and then figure out the next step. Yeah. And I just feel like, because Gorham's Bluff is a place, more than anything else, yes, I'm looking out at it, it's absolutely gorgeous, and many people could sit for a whole day on the bluff and just look at it. I think the most important thing that we can offer is just a place to disconnect. Yeah. We have one television. There are no televisions in the rooms because whether you need to connect to yourself or to the natural world or to your partner, whatever it is that you need, the minute that you turn into Gorham's Bluff, you're somewhere different.
Absolutely.
And that's why we just try to think of everything that we can do to let people do it just the way they want.
Yeah. Well, we walked the trails around town last night, and it was beautiful. I love the trail that kind of is above the bluff here. Yeah. That was, I got some great sunset
And it's so
photos.
Different how the trail goes, what the bluff view is if you go west than if you go east.
Okay, we have to try that one.
So my advice is, if you have a specific time that you want to be here, a celebration of a special day, make it as soon as you can. Okay. So that you have as much choice of rooms, etc. If you want to come on Friday night and it's Friday afternoon, call us anyway.
Okay.
Because
there might be.
And we will book you up until dinner time when we go work on dinner and don't really answer the phone very much.
Okay. No, that's okay. I absolutely have loved the customer service here. Stephanie and Valerie have just been absolutely wonderful. And I don't know who you have in the kitchen, but they're totally talented. Dakota
is Valerie's husband.
Yes.
Dakota
really?
And Valerie, yes.
Okay. Well, he's super good.
I'm so proud of him and just so amazingly grateful.
Okay.
My mom started out as one of our early
awesome.
chefs. She would say, I'm not a chef. And she wasn't trained, but when I describe my mom, I tell people that she is a very sweet, tiny Martha Stewart.
Okay.
She's 5'3". She may be 5'2" now. But in the early days of Gorham's Bluff, we had someone who cooked for like the first few months, maybe May to July, I can't remember. And then she just took it because we all said, Mom, your food is as good as anyone. We grew up royally in that regard because we always had wonderful meals.
Right.
Always. If you do have such an event and you want to add some other celebration things, we can do a celebration package.
Okay.
Which includes chocolate-covered strawberries and a little bit of sparkling, complimentary
bubbly.
Sparkling, yes. We can order flowers. We have an excellent relationship with the florist Vicky's Flowers in Rainsville. I'll give her a plug because she is unbelievable.
Okay.
And so, we can just make a lot of things happen. There are so many talented people in our community. If you go a 30-minute radius, you can have anything. It's pretty incredible.
I'm just amazed how much is close within 30 minutes. So even if people do say, okay, I want to go explore, there's plenty to see and explore too.
Yeah.
With DeSoto Falls being
Little River
13,
Canyon.
waterfalls right there.
So you got DeSoto State Park, and you have Little River Canyon, which is actually a National Park Preserve. Mm-hmm. And I am not sure what the status of the visitor center is today, but it's just so amazing that right in our area, we have the kind of options, the facilities that being a part of the National Park System provides.
Yeah. So Dawn, tell me, what are some of the precautions you're taking with COVID and the regulations and the stipulations?
So we've really heightened our level of cleaning.
Okay.
I feel like we were doing a really good job before, but we've added a higher level of product for cleaning. This sounds like a small thing, but once the housekeeper leaves, we're really depending on the housekeeper to get it all right, because we're trying not to allow anyone to go back in the room after the housekeeping is complete.
Right.
And we don't check folks in anymore, because it used to be that when you came and walked in the front door, one of us, often me, would say, "Oh, we're so glad you're here," and sort of walk you around the downstairs and then take you up to your room and point out things you might need to know that might take you a minute
to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right.
But we don't do that anymore. I sort of show folks around the downstairs, and then I say, "I'm so sorry. I feel bad that I am not," but we just don't go into the room.
Is it possible for people to rent cabin? Do you have cottages available as well?
We do. We currently have only 3.
Okay.
There has been a time in Gorham Bluff when we had as many as 10.
Okay. Thank you for ordering such beautiful pictorial weather.
You are so welcome.
For our weekend.
We try. Well, I love to end interviews or, when I'm talking to a group, talking about just a little bit about Uncle Billy Gorham.
Okay.
Who was not my uncle.
But he was
known as
Civil War
veteran.
Okay.
Fought in the Missouri Regiment.
Yes.
We have no idea what brought him here. I really, really need to just say, okay, I'm going to take a whole weekend and find out everything I can about the Missouri Regiment, but I haven't done that. In 25 years, I haven't gotten that done. So did he, fight near Bridgeport and look across here in the Homestead Act? Did he just decide that he was coming to this area? Or the more fun story is that he rode with Jesse James.
Oh, there you go.
And Jesse James, they robbed banks in Huntsville.
Okay.
And Jesse James' brother was actually captured. Now, for a long time, the story that I had been told and the one that I related was that his brother, Jesse's brother, escaped through the courthouse window, so he was never really tried. Oh. And a Huntsville attorney came up here and ruined my whole romantic story.
You're like, no, I like that story.
And I can't, because I didn't like it, I can't remember exactly what he said the story is. I hope he sees this and then he can tell us again. There was some sort of negotiation between the DA and the prosecutor.
They let him go.
Between the DA and the defense, and they let him go.
Okay.
I don't know what was required, but the rumor about Uncle Billy when he came here was that he had gold. And that he hid it. Well, we haven't found. Well, we all get gold when we come here, but we haven't found the pot of gold. But we don't know why he came. He lived very primitively.
Yeah.
My grandfather used to tell about he would buy a stick of bologna, and a hoop of cheese, and we just leave that on the table, and it was available for anything that wanted to eat it, including varmints, rodents.
Yeah.
Ooh. He was definitely eccentric, and if I had fought in the Civil War, been captured by the federal soldiers and had been in a prison camp in Mississippi when it was over, I have no idea what that war mentally did to people.
I know.
My grandfather grew up knowing him. He was so fond of him. My great-grandfather built a house about a mile from here as the crow flies.
Okay.
It's a dog trot house.
Okay.
And that my grandfather, his parents, his brothers and sisters lived there. And then when his parents were gone, he lived there with his family. So my mother lived in that house for a time when she was a child. Yeah.
That's so cool.
And she was born, if you turn left out of our entrance and go to that stop sign and look out in that field, that pasture, my mom was born right out there.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So we're definitely in our roots. But and then when we were writing our first brochure, Mom said, The Bluff is beautiful, but it's so vast. It makes me want to connect with someone, whether it's, sharing a book, talking about a book together, or listening to music, whatever it is. I have the need to connect to people. That's what the vastness makes me feel. We have really tried to sustain what I think makes it amazing.
Sure. Well, it's a lovely community, and I can't wait to come back.
Well, I'm so glad you
We're
came.
going to bring the husbands next time.
That's a good idea.
There's a golf course not too far
That's
from
right.
here.
It's a couple.
And so if you have golfers out there like I do and they do.
Well, you guys could just take
beautiful.
the second floor.
That's
4
right.
rooms. There you are.
There you
in a
go.
row.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Well,
outside.
we enjoy. That was our congregating porch.
Yeah. I thought it might be. Yeah. Good.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. I look forward to my return visit to
We look
Gorham's
forward to
Bluff.
having you.
Thanks, Dawn.
You're welcome.
I have much more content on my website, travelwithwendy.net, and you can also support this channel by becoming a Patreon patron. The links are below. Remember, it's always an adventure when you travel with Wendy.